What's going on, guys? Belair here. Today we are rocking with the birthday boy. Fiv3Up is turning 18 today. Logan S. No last name on Wikipedia, but happy birthday, Logan. And wanted to talk about one of the sneaky players in North America that I'm excited about. I really first heard about Fiv3Up before this season began. Coach JSU, who has coached a couple of teams around the scene, raved about Fiv3Up and his work ethic and how much he had improved over the course of the offseason, and certainly showed it. Started out with First Class, which is the team I didn't know him on last season, and then ended up on the Pirates on a Boat roster. Nice little transition goal there by Fiv3Up to get the scoring started in Game 2 here against G2. And this is Open Qualifier 6 before we move on. But Fiv3Up came onto this Pirates on a Boat roster, and this team was kind of, it of course is a pickup team, but I don't think expectations were very high. It was cool that they were going to have Achieves as their coach after Achieves was no longer going to be participating in as a talent rather for the RLCS. And then alongside Andy, longtime veteran who had made a LAN in recent seasons as a part of Dignitas, if I'm not remembering incorrectly. And of course, Toasty was on the roster at the beginning, if I recall correctly, as Fiv3Up. I hope he gets credit for this. Let's see. Kind of laying back, but playing close enough, conserves a full tank of boost, gets up to this quick, actually tries to slot it, but Andy is there for the cleanup, so we'll call it a purposeful assist. But Andy and Toasty alongside Fiv3Up to kind of see what he could be alongside those two proven commodities. And they're just bleeding goals here as they're going to go up 3-0 on G2 within the first minute and a half of this first game we're watching. But once they decided to move off Toasty, which if I remember correctly was in tandem with him getting his shot on NRG, they picked up Aris. And Aris has someone, especially in the second part of the season, really came alive for them. Was a huge goal scorer, was a massive part of the reason why Moist Esports were able to make the run that they did into deep into the playoffs. And now this team have some decisions to make. We just heard literally today, if not yesterday, that Fiv3Up and the rest of the Moist Boys had been dropped from the org. Pretty crappy birthday present, but I'm sure it's something that they've been discussing for a while. And what are they going to do now? Is this roster going to split? Are they going to part ways? Do they really like what they were able to put up, getting kind of hot last season? Maybe they're waiting for, a slew of orgs who have dropped off over the course of the beginning of this offseason. The Cloud9s, the M80s of the world. Maybe they already know something and they're going to keep it going back in the same way. Time will tell on that, but very interested to see what the offseason holds and if this team is going to be participating in and winning any of these off-season tournaments that we are sure to have. So locking in on Fiv3Up here, I think I might have I done a video on him before? If not, I've certainly watched quite a bit of gameplay, and he just does everything at a quality level. There's no elite skill that really stands out for Fiv3Up. And that really kind of comes through on the stat sheet as well. Out of all of the core and advanced stats, Fiv3Up is in the middle 10 percentile for 9 categories. He is not in the bottom 10 percentile or the top 10 percentile for any, but is in the middle for 9 categories, which I haven't gone through and done everybody, but feels like a record. I don't know if anybody is just that middling at so many things, and the skeptic would say, wow, just in the middle for everything. Well, I guess the other way to look at it is that he is at average for essentially everything you would want. And when you're talking about somebody like Fiv3Up who has had the trajectory that he has, not necessarily being a number one option, not being highly sought after thus far in his career outside of, the opportunity that he got this season, being a little bit of an older player. He reminds me of those NBA prospects who get drafted when they're like seniors. And it's like, man, he might be, you know, one of the 3 best talents in this draft, but, you know, he's so old that we're probably not going to take him until, you know, we get a little bit outside of the lottery. And, you know, the thing about those players is they're plug and play. You can have them producing for you immediately, and also the expectations are a little different, right? They know that they're not going to be a number 1 option, so they can fill the gaps and be that utility player that you want, as Moist need to tighten the belt here, as G2 have put up quick 2-1s on him after this one looked out of reach. I suppose nothing is out of reach against G2. And in the second game, we're really going to focus in on the gameplay. And it looks like this one is slowly winding down here, as Moist are going with the full Finnick setup. Something that that Fiv3Up does very well that I've noticed, outside of, you know, other intangibles like reading the field and conserving boost, which is something he does very well. I noticed that Fiv3Up likes to utilize the bottom of his car in pretty unique and impactful ways, as that one's not going to go in. And Andy with the hat trick, but Fiv3Up doing everything you want him to do: a goal, an assist, 2 saves on an efficient 2 shots to win a big game against G2. They ended up losing this one in 5. And speaking of game 5s, let's go hop over to an impact game 5 for our second game of the video. How many times can I say game in 5 seconds? Be right back. Underneath the water, which is great. It's so hot outside. I'd love to be watching a game on Aquadome, one of the only arenas where there's no fans. But let's get on topic, why don't we? Game 5, playoffs, Open Qualifier 6 against Gen.G. Gen.G have already secured themselves a spot at the London Major by the time that this is happening. But, you know, you always want to have that momentum coming into big LAN events. You always want to get the points and the seeding and all that. So this is not an unimportant game here. As how is this one going to float in? This one's ping pong in here. Aris is going to get a crazy redirect. Jack should have a read, but it bounces funky. And just not a good clear by Jack. Him and First Killer both go. Miscommunication, and then an easy touch, which turns into a layup for Moist in this game 5, where Moist are already up 3-1 here. A lot of games have gone to overtime, but Moist have been able to steady the ship, and that pun would have worked even better if they were still pirates on a boat at the time of this game, but I digress. Something that I noticed when I was looking over games is that Fiv3Up is almost never the MVP for his team. Wins, losses, nothing. Fiv3Up is almost always in the middle or at the bottom, which again kind of brings us back to that point we were making a second ago about him being, you know, a utility player who kind of knows his role and is just looking to win, honestly, as he's going to fake Jack out, get up to this one, take time, try and get his teammates back into it, and First Killer almost laces one into the bottom corner. First Killer is so gifted at those sidewall challenges and putting those on net, and hopefully you can't hear the lawn work that's being done by my neighbors right now. Don't they know I'm recording? You know, I put a sign out front, but I guess nobody's really listening to that. And Fiv3Up is trying to get a breakaway here, but is unfortunately going to put it right on Jack. But the pressure that he creates is going to put up a second goal here, as Gen.G have struggled on the defensive end. Not the first time, won't be the last. Fiv3Up here is just going to rotate all the way back for boost. Teammates playing up, and he is okay to wait. You know, we've seen in a couple of situations already in these 2 games that when Fiv3Up is the third man, he plays it close enough to make an impact on the play. There's some players who sit so far back, like right here is a good situation, but he had to get boost, of course, where you can't make a play on it or you're going to get beat. But even there, he misses the double. It looked like he tried to go for a big 50 down that would bounce, but plays it close enough to be impactful for his teammates. Staying pretty far back here, is going to take that mid boost. Jack is just going to punt this one, which is weird. Really wanted to probably keep possession there. And then a pretty good 50 from Chronic, as Fiv3Up is going to get him off of his turf here, try and get them out in transition. How's he going to deal with this one? Good communication. Aris is going to go, just kind of punt it down. They're wasting time, right? They're already up 2. Gen.G really haven't done anything impactful, as Fiv3Up's going to kill that one down, rotate back, and plays it off the low back wall there. Here we go in transition. Gen.G have had no sustained offense so far in this game, and are kind of struggling to break past the midfield, and also just really poor game play by Gen.G, to be honest with you. They're just kind of punting the ball away. It looks like they are very afraid of the challenges that Moist could bring, as Fiv3Up is going to be sticky on this one. Get cancel two offensive attacks by Gen.G, and then we're going the other way here. Often sticking back. He knows the situation is not going to overcommit. Dodges a bump attempt from Jack there. Stays composed. Maybe this is going to be a back pass by Andy. Doesn't get ball, but does get man here. Fiv3Up is just doing all the little things to make life difficult for Moist, difficult for Gen.G, rather, who are going to answer there in transition, and we have a ball game again. Seems like Fiv3Up is commonly rotating back to that third man for this team. See how he gets up to this one. Force your man to go high. That's the old adage. You don't want a play to get underneath of you, because then you can have no impact. But if you force him high, you at least give your teammates a chance there. Going to try and contend for that mid boost. First kill, he's going to get the kill and the boost here. Fiv3Up trying to rotate out. This one is in a very funky place, and that is a very heads-up defensive play. This is turning into a real scramble here. Jack with the pre-jump is not going to be able to get up to it, and here we go in transition. Fiv3Up's like, get this out of here. I'm tired of it. All right, big moment in rotation. Fiv3Up with the kill, just gets the cancel on the momentum, which was a little bit dangerous as Gen.G are trying to come in transition there. But look at this, using the wave dash, going to keep all his boost to his name, keeps space and gets up quick to that shot by apparently Jack. He's not giving any space there. Deflects this one over to the side. Fiv3Up has been so impactful in the air. And as soon as I say that, no boost, no momentum. Gen.G answer in a big moment. Let's see what we're going to get here as this game potentially winds to an end. Leaves that one, comes all the way back. It's going to see what Jack does with his touch. Man, he saved that second jump. Got up to it just in time. This one's funky. Just going to give it a pop here. Beat first killer. Past one. Chronic is stuck in the corner, and I remember this. There it is, at the death. This is all set up by Fiv3Up here. Jack all the way back. Watch, jump. Second jump to get up to it. Keep it high in the air. Still in a dangerous spot. Great save by Andy. Gonna get the pop. First killer probably thinks he's low. Gets up, gets the double touch. And then from here, Aris just takes over, gets a slice in, and Andy's gonna finish. And that is it. Gen.G are out of the tournament as Fiv3Up again. Low man on the totem pole, but did all the little stuff to make it very difficult for Gen.G to set up any sustained offense. A lot of it were just punts at the net and solo plays, and Fiv3Up was able to kill so many of those. He especially had Jack's number, it seemed, who was trying to get resets, get over the top, switch things up, but just couldn't do it. Aris is going to be our MVP, but Fiv3Up, 2 assists, 3 saves to his name on 3 shots to close out Gen.G in a huge win here for Moist Esports. What do we expect from this roster going forward? Are they going to change things up, or are they going to run the same thing back? I was very impressed by them. They were heating up towards the end of the season, which is what you like to see from teams who are trying to find their cohesion. Interested to see where Fiv3Up's going to go from here. 18 years old, still a lot of career ahead of him, and took a massive leap this season. So we'll see if this offseason he can continue to strive forward. And what I would really love to see from Fiv3Up is to find what that elite skill is. He's in the middle on so many of these things, which is already an excellent ground to set for yourself. But can he take that next leap into stardom in North America by finding his elite skill? So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the content. Please let me know who you want to watch next in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, take it easy.